Welcome to Nightique. I'm Edward St. Pé. Well, tonight we've got two guests, Mary Margaret Miller, who is with the tourism department here in the state, talking about everything that the tourism department is doing to increase tourism across the state. We've got so many great things to offer, and she's going to talk about what they're up to at the Visitors Bureau. Also, we've got Mr. Ward Emling with us to stop in and talk a little bit about the film industry and what's going on in that burgeoning marketplace. Stay with us. This is Nightique.
Since 1849, Carter Jewelers has been a part of Jackson's rich history. Over 163 years later, we've not only survived, Carter Jewelers has flourished. From generation to generation, we've established a tradition of excellence. Our reputation is built on customer satisfaction, service, and trust. Every piece of jewelry is handpicked, so you know you're getting the best value.
Nobody says I do like we do at Carter Jewelers.
Come see us and be part of our history.
Hi, I'm Dr. Amanda Rice with Quinn Healthcare, and I believe in the power of exercise. Many patients ask me if they would develop high blood pressure or diabetes just because their parents did. I tell them that although we cannot change our genetics, we can control our diet and level of exercise. Simply making better choices can change your life. I'm Dr. Amanda Rice with Quinn Healthcare, and I want you to know that you are in control.
Well, Mary Margaret Miller is with us, and Mary, you are with the tourism department here in the state, right?
That's right, Edward. I work for Visit Mississippi, which is the state tourism office. We are a partner organization. We've got around 50 convention and visitor bureaus around the state, 13 welcome centers, and a great staff here in Jackson.
So what are we exporting, to the rest of the world? I know we're famous for the arts, writers and musicians and such. Is that our main export, creatively speaking?
Well, you could say that. I mean, the tourist in Mississippi is really a cultural heritage tourist. People are coming here to learn about Civil War, learn about civil rights, hear some great music, eat some great food, get their hands on some handmade Mississippi mud pottery. But we also have a lot of other great assets. One thing that you don't hear about a lot, but I think you'll hear about more these days, is soft outdoors. That's hiking, biking, paddling, birding. We're a great destination for hunting and fishing. Of course, we've got wonderful golf in Mississippi, some great experiences for golf. So we talk about all of these things, but my work in particular really focuses on creative Mississippians and the arts and culture that you can find when you come to visit Mississippi.
So the Mississippi creative economy, what is the Mississippi creative economy?
Well, Mississippi's creative economy is really the sum of all wealth of creative workers in Mississippi. That's a really simple definition of it. And it's an exploration that we really began almost 5 years ago. Back in 2011, the Mississippi Development Authority, where Visit Mississippi lives, and the Mississippi Arts Commission got together and really wanted to, for the first time, see what creative workers mean to the state's economy. So we not only looked at job creation, we looked at where these people live, what sectors are growing, and we learned that about 60,000 Mississippians are employed by the creative economy. And if you want to put that into kind of economic development lingo, that's about 10 Nissan plants. So we've got a lot of Mississippians working in the creative economy, and when we talk about that, we're talking about culinary arts, we're talking about heritage and museums, design, performing arts, visual arts, and film and media, which is what you do here today as part of the creative economy.
The film business is discovering Mississippi too, right?
Look, this has been a banner year for film in Mississippi. I believe the last time I spoke with Ward Emling, our film director, we had 19 films that were filmed in Mississippi in 2014.
That's amazing. And so what is it, why is it that the world is discovering us now? I mean, can you put a finger on it?
I think we're doing a better job of telling the Mississippi story. For a long time, Mississippians have allowed other people to tell that story for us, whether it was through film or popular culture. But we're really doing due diligence to tell the Mississippi story and have it told by real Mississippians. We don't need to hire actors to talk about the great blues and bluegrass and barbecue that you can check out while you're in Mississippi. We're going to the source, if you will. We're going to folks like Bobby Rush, who you've had on your show, to talk about coming to Mississippi, hearing his music at a great festival, and maybe hanging out for a little while longer to go to a museum or play a round of golf.
You know, it's so vast. I mean, from opera singers to actors to writers to country music artists and blues music artists. I mean, we've got such a treasure trove of great art and great history of art coming out of the state.
Well, it's true, and two of our most successful programs are the Mississippi Blues Trail and the Mississippi Country Music Trail. These are marked trail programs. We've got a little over 185 Mississippi Blues Trail markers in the ground, and we're rounding up to about 30 Mississippi Country Music Trail markers. And these markers are a great thing because they give travelers and locals kind of some direction, kind of tell you where to go to experience the history of this great music. But they also really tell our story. Again, telling that story in a really strong and powerful way.
So, for example, people coming from Japan to Mississippi who want to go on the blues trail or the country trail, they can, before they even get here, they can look at this on a chart and see everywhere they want to go, and they can go to these locations and see these various locations, right?
That's exactly right. And so what our hope is that you'll come to Mississippi, you'll kind of chart out your experience. Maybe you start in Tunica at the gateway to the Delta Blues Museum, and you make your way all the way down to Bay St. Louis to 100 Men Hall, a wonderful historic music venue where you can hear live music a couple of nights a week. And while you're here, in between, you're going to stop, maybe you know, of course, shop at some of our great local stores. Mississippi has such a rich history of multi-generation owned restaurants. We want people to kind of stay a while, linger, and kind of choose their own adventure on the trail, and that's one of the greatest aspects of that trail.
You know, what comes to mind is Elvis Presley, too. I mean, being that he's from Mississippi, he was born in Tupelo.
Look, Edward, have you ever been to the birthplace in Tupelo?
I have not been.
It is amazing. I had my first trip there earlier this year, and I was incredibly blown away by Elvis's humble background.
What was it like?
Well, this one-room home. It's not a one-room shack or one-room cabin, but it's a very small, modest one-room house with a little front porch and a tiny little kitchen on the back with a wood-burning stove and, you know, just one bed where the family, you know, would lay their heads down to sleep at night. So these really modest beginnings to a man that really changed our definition of how we experience music and how we relate to music. And it's powerful. The museum's really great. The grounds are lovely. I think one of the most powerful experiences there is the chapel. They've recreated a scene where similar to what Elvis might have experienced as a young boy going to church in rural North Mississippi. It's overwhelmingly powerful.
It's really something. I mean, and people from all over the world, of course, come to that site to visit the birthplace of Elvis.
Well, we've got a blues trail marker for Elvis, and we also have a country music trail marker for Elvis.
So he's on both.
He's on two different markers. They're right there at the birthplace. And that kind of tells you, I mean, Elvis was multi-genred, you know, if genre is a word, but he covered it all. And if, you know, if we wanted to get into some other genres as well, gospel in particular, I think that we could certainly say Elvis fits in that category.
That's true. Well, you know, the thing about Elvis was, you know, he sort of, for the first time for middle America and white America, he amalgamated, he synthesized, you know, rhythm and blues as a white man performing, you know, the multi-genre of synthesis, you know, and so what came out was something that no one had seen. But you know, it almost makes sense that he had to be from Mississippi to do that, you know?
Well, it's true. I mean, he really had a multicultural experience growing up. And, you know, this year, 2015, marks Elvis's 80th birthday. So all year long throughout Mississippi, you're going to see celebrations and conversations about Elvis at 80. And I recently had a great opportunity to hear four of the session musicians that performed with Elvis on several different records. One cut being Suspicious Minds, and you know, to hear these guys on keyboards, on guitar that recorded that tune with Elvis, it's a game changer. The
really
instrumentation of his work is almost as powerful as his personality and his bigger than life image.
Yeah, really, it's an amazing story. What is the website for Visit Mississippi and the various things you guys are doing in tourism?
Oh yeah, absolutely. You can check us out at visitmississippi.org, and Mississippi's all spelled out. From there, you can learn about history and heritage, food and culture, music, arts, golf, gaming, and we have links on that website to several of our great programs, Blues Trail, Country Music Trail, and also to the Mississippi Creative Economy work. It has a website of its own, mscreativeeconomy.com, and you can go there and read about Mississippi's creative economy study, and you can also see a couple of short films about creative economy in Mississippi.
How big is tourism in the state, money-wise? What does it mean?
Well, for every dollar spent in Mississippi on tourism, there's about a $6.46 return, and that's pretty good business if you're a businessman to think about impact in that sort of way. We're one of the largest employers in the state of Mississippi, and we're growing. Tourism is growing, the product is growing, the industry is really growing, and we think it's a really healthy and vibrant industry for the future.
And it's fun.
And it's a lot of fun.
It's a lot of fun.
You get to talk to a lot of folks, and I always say this, I think, you know, you and I have talked, you know, this afternoon about these great assets, cultural assets we have in Mississippi that really intrigue people, right? They whet their appetite and get them interested in Mississippi. But what keeps people coming back to Mississippi is their interaction with the locals. We have international visitors from around the United States that come to Mississippi because they just want to chit-chat and hang out and visit like we do naturally. So it's really the people here that you know, keep people coming back for more.
It's true. Well, Mary, thank you for coming. Mary Margaret
That's
Miller.
right. The great Southern name.
Thank you for being with us on this edition.
Thank you, Edward. Great to be
Nightique.
here.
And please come back, and whenever you've got news, please come back and share it with us. Okay, on more
Will
programs.
do. Really glad to be here. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mary Margaret Miller from the Tourism Department here in the state. Thanks for being with us for this segment. We'll be right back after this.
Ingalls Shipbuilding is hiring electricians, structural welders, machinists, ship fitters, pipe fitters, and pipe welders in our Pascagoula, Mississippi site. Signing bonuses available for pipe welders only. Positions are union represented. Come build your career with Ingalls Shipbuilding. Go to www.huntingtoningalls.com/careers or call 888-935-1507.
Well, thanks for being with us. This is Nightique. I'm speaking to our film commissioner, Mr. Ward Emling. And this past year, I guess 2014 was a breakthrough year
crazy.
for films.
Yeah.
How many films came to Mississippi to shoot?
19. We had, and 3 of those were, 2 of them were short films. One called The Gift, which shot in Tupelo, and one called Olivia Martha Ilsa, which was a Mississippi retelling of Chekhov's Three Sisters. And it was set in Mississippi in the 30s, I think it was. And those were two shorts. And then there was a short film cycle by a Mississippi filmmaker named Alex Warren called Sequence, 4 short films. That actually came out. He's been screening it around the state and around the country recently. So those are the short films. So, but the other, all feature films. A couple of them just partial films. Mississippi Grind, which stars, I think that's the one with Ryan Reynolds and Sienna Miller, which filmed on the coast and in the Tunica area, in part. And then there's another one called Midnight Special, which filmed along the coast as well. And that, I don't know when that's coming out. That's, that'll come out. That's by the director, Jeff Nichols, who did this movie with Matthew McConaughey called Mud. That was a big hit last year, and Reese Witherspoon was in that. And then the rest of them were like, the complete films were here. Get On Up, of course, and
it's the James Brown.
The James Brown movie, and we had a movie called The Hollers, which was directed by John Krasinski. It starred Anna Kendrick and John and Richard Jenkins, and several others. Had a great cast, and it was produced by a guy from Jackson named Tom Rice. And so that will come out at some point. That was filmed last year, and that'll come out at some point. We had a Western called By Way of Helena, set in 1880s Texas, filmed in Greenwood, with Woody Harrelson and Liam Hemsworth and Alice Braga and William Hurt. It's a terrific cast. They turned the old Floorwood plantation kind of park into a Western town. So we now have a Western town. You want to shoot a Western? We got a Western. We got a Western town. And that's going to be a beautiful, beautiful film. I've seen some outtakes from it, and I've seen a little teaser clip from it, and it's like, wow, where did those locations come from? And then we had a movie called Life at These Speeds with Billy Crudup and Dixieland, a small independent film called Dixieland that had Steve Earle and Faith Hill and Riley Keough, who is Lisa Marie Presley's daughter, so Elvis's granddaughter. We had it was a pretty good range of films. We had Burt Reynolds in a film, and that was the year before. We had Tom Berenger in a film down on the coast, and it was like I said, it was a crazy year of film.
How do you keep it churning? How do you make sure that we've got more films coming?
Well, fortunately, this is small. The filmmaking community is a small community, and so they talk, and they know, where'd you make your last film? We made it in the Mississippi. Well, how was it? It was great. That kind of. So there's a lot of talk. We go to trade shows. There's a trade show we do in L.A., and we do the Tribeca Film Festival and Independent Film Week in New York. And New York's been actually a pretty good market for us. The producer of, I met the people with Dixieland in New York, and a couple of years ago, folks, Big Significant Things, they're out of New York. So we had been spending a lot of time in New York, and that has really paid off last year, and we think that it's going to continue. We know that one of the films that's coming here this year is from that same, out of New York, from relationships that we started there. But then the big trade show that we do every year is in Los Angeles in March of every year, and essentially you have a booth, and you're in LA, and filmmakers and producers and directors and production designers and location managers all come to visit you, and you talk about it. But fortunately, we've got a lot of people talking about filming here.
Is our incentive program better than many states, or on a par with?
Well, I'd say we're in the top tier right now. We have a cap. We have a $20 million annual cap, so we can't give out more rebate in any one year than $20 million. And there are a couple of states that have no caps, like Louisiana, Georgia. They have no caps whatsoever. which is why the bigger films will go there as well. But you know, we had a really busy year last year, and you know, we're doing fine, and we'll move the cap up as we need to move the cap. But from a dollar for dollar impact, our incentive is as good as anybody's.
So from a practical standpoint, if I'm a producer, if I have the option to go to one state and they don't have any incentive program, and I have an option to shoot in Mississippi and it's 25%, let's say,
yeah,
that means as a producer, if I spend $1 million on Mississippi talent and shooting, the $1 million I spend is in Mississippi, 25% can be rebated back to me as a producer.
Yeah, you're getting a rebate of 25%.
So that's $250,000.
Yeah, it's not small.
That will get someone's attention.
Yeah, and that's what's happening. And now, you set up a scenario where I'm going to either go to this state or with no rebate,
right,
or this state with a rebate. Well, that's not even a decision anymore. Right. Your first conversation with the industry is about your incentive program. That's why they make, 9.9 times out of 10, the decision is made based on the incentive. That's how you get there. And an interesting thing did happen last year, maybe in the last 18 months, is that once people realized that our incentive was cash equivalent to Louisiana and Georgia, then our locations became important again. Because until then, they didn't care. You'd go someplace because of the incentive, not necessarily because of the locations. Now, 15, 20 years ago, you went to a place because of the location. And now that we're essentially cash equal, our locations are back in play. So, and we have great locations. We have great cities and great town squares and great water. I mean, we have, really fabulous water resources in this state, all over the state. So people are finding better, they're making us work a little harder on locations too, because it's like, we got this film, it's really set at Lake Tahoe. Can you shoot it? Can we shoot it in Mississippi? Which, yes, because that's happening on the coast right now. A movie called Shark Lake with Dolph Lundgren, and that is, it's actually set at Lake Tahoe in Nevada, California, right there on the border, and they're shooting it in the Mississippi Gulf Coast.
Amazing. So, okay, for folks watching who want to get in touch with what's going on in the film industry in our state, what is the web address again?
The website, www.filmmississippi.org. We have a Facebook page, so you can like us on Facebook. You'll get our updates that way. But we keep that going. We keep a lot of information on there, and but that's the best way to get to us.
As far as films coming in who are looking for cast and putting out a casting call and all that, a lot of that comes through you, and you blast it out via the emails, right?
Yeah, it goes out through our emails. Sometimes the newspapers are getting them now because we have a local casting director, a guy named Matthew Morgan, who's been working more and more here, and he's got a good network of good information network going. So he gets that word out too through his Facebook page and I guess he's got a website, and I won't say I'm surprised by things when they get into the newspaper, but sometimes they're like, wow, that authority in the newspaper, because Matthew's casting something and he's got it out, got a casting call in the paper. But no, we're getting good. The world of social media these days is really helping get the word out of things like this, because they happen pretty quickly.
Well, Ward, we could talk another 30 minutes easily. There's so much going on. Thank you for being with us.
Oh, well, good to be here. Thank you.
Please come back. We wanted to have you back on, talk about what's going on this new year in the film industry, okay?
I look forward to that.
Thank you. Ward Emling, our film commissioner here in the state. Thanks for watching, and we'll be back after this.
Since 1849, Carter Jewelers has been a part of Jackson's rich history. Over 163 years later, we've not only survived, Carter Jewelers has flourished. From generation to generation, we've established a tradition of excellence. Our reputation is built on customer satisfaction, service, and trust. Every piece of jewelry is hand-picked, so you know you're getting the best value.
Nobody says I do like we do at Carter Jewelers.
Come see us and be part of our history.
Attention! If you currently wear eyeglasses or contact lenses, stay tuned for an important message. Are you tired or frustrated with bothersome eyeglasses and contact lenses? If you answered yes, then LASIK might be just what you're looking for. And at the LASIK Vision Institute, our LASIK procedures now start at just $2.99 per eye. The LASIK Vision Institute's nationwide network of eye surgery centers offer the most comprehensive, reliable, and affordable vision improvement services available. With over 900,000 procedures performed since 1999, our independent surgeons are changing the way people just like you see the world. Call now to talk to a LASIK Vision Institute counselor and schedule a free evaluation. A $200 value, free.
Ingalls Shipbuilding is hiring electricians, structural welders, machinists, ship fitters, pipe fitters, and pipe welders in our Pascagoula, Mississippi site. Signing bonuses available for pipe welders only. Positions are union represented. Come build your career with Ingalls Shipbuilding. Go to www.huntingtoningalls.com/careers or call 888-935-1507.
We'd like to welcome you to visit our website at nightique.com. That's Nightique, Nightique.com, where you can see many of these shows archived in their entirety in HD. And you can also be in touch with us. See you next time.